Hello, patients. You're welcome to Boya, the city of legendary hospitality, at the foot of the mountain where we have the freshest atmospheric condition. I want to say out here, you can just prepare to go to Europe. Yes, you can be sure of that. And in Boya, we equally have the Timanambusa. When you come over, I'm sure I'm going to treat you to that. Okay? Yes. Today we're going to be meeting somebody that many people know him as a TV figure, communication icon. And he's a spokesperson of the major national dialogue. And I want to tell you what, he is using cinema in crusading for peace in our country and even beyond. And I want to say the impact is just huge. It's just beautiful. And one of his movies, short films, were showcased at the CAMIF 2021 edition. It was just amazing. I tell you, Cameroonians are talented. This man I'm talking about, I don't need to talk much about him. I think we just need to meet him. He's no other person than George Ewane. Mr. George Ewane, we are glad to have you on the program today.
Thank you very much. It's my pleasure.
Wow. I feel really honored talking to you today, having you today on Cameroon Feeling.
Well, I'm also honored and humbled to be guest on Cameroon Feeling. I hope Cameroonians get the feeling this morning. I think it's good to be with Cameroonians again, to be on Cameroon Feeling, to be with patients who does a wonderful job, like you just said, and to be with you with the passion and enthusiasm. I think is good. Thank you for having me on your set.
Okay, now let's discover a little bit about George Ewane. And let's discover something little before we get into how George Ewane got into cinema, because I was really surprised.
Yeah, I'm surprised how I got into cinema. Well, many people know me. I'm George Ewane. I'm a professor in the University of Yaoundé, #1. That is in Guayaquil. I'm central director for radio, but before then I was in charge of sovereignty activities at the Cameroon Radio Television, where I actually handled especially the communication of the President of the Republic for 18 years. Then I was also technical advisor for the Director General in charge of diversification and international action. Today I'm central director for radio, professor in the University of Yaoundé 1, and spokesperson for the major national dialogue.
Very important,
yes,
because we are getting the waves across the country and even the world over. Many people are talking about these short movies, short films that are all about peace and the need for peace to return to Cameroon and all of that. And in CAMIF 2021, one of those movies were showcased. Tell us about it.
Yes, we thought that taking our inspiration from the president's ideology of having Cameroon completely peaceful, especially after the before, during and after the major national dialogue. And as spokesperson for this major national dialogue, we thought that we could add a little bit to what the government has been doing, to what the president has done, in order for peace and normalcy to reign once again, totally and completely, in the northwest and the southwest regions of Cameroon, but also in the rest of the country. So we came up with this idea of little short write-ups, scripts in the pidgin language. Nelson Mandela says if you want people to understand you, speak the language the best understand. So we thought that the pidgin language was the best language we could use. So we had these little short scripts, which fortunately were materialized by the Department of Performing Arts of the University of Yaoundé #1 and made them into films. And we were surprised by the result. I'm not a film producer, I'm not a film actor, I'm not anything in the film industry, but we were surprised that CAMIF got interested in some of the productions that we have, and they decided to screen them during the CAMIF festival here in Boya. We were invited to be part of it, and the surprise is there. So,
okay, the surprise is there. Somebody is saying, Sally, it's because that is your boss, that is your senior colleague, that is why you're saying all of that. Okay, Cavino, it's time we go to CAMIF and discover Mr. George Ewane at the CAMIF 2021. Let's see how it all happened.
If you rape me, what will happen? I will not die since the day we will kill my master. But we will not fit key truth. That foolish war we will did one, so now foolish. If we not kill all man now, what you go do? We don't stop school for 4 years. Now collect the obele. Who the loss? Foolish picking them. They don't touch gun, punish you now. Una don't lie, say UNESCO. No, we take people their certificates. Say you and they can't divide the country. Now you and that way they can't help for be the country.
Hey! I don't tell you that no one hear that enough again. I don't talk that no one hear that talk again. mother will be your own mommy. Now which cannot say that.
Ma picking them. Una go bury that gun them for ground. Una go throw that gun them, go back to school. Ma tell una the truth. They no fit divide the country. Una come, mu join and build this country together. Ma picking a beg, bring out that gun.
That Camille decided to air this evening, and I was invited to talk about the film. I think the most important thing here is the role of the woman in resolving the crisis that we have in our country. Because the woman has a primordial role to play. These children are children that have been brought up by women. Women have a powerful voice. Sometimes I used to say, can man be free if woman be a slave? It's not possible.
Okay, the taste of the pudding is in the eating. I'm sure you now believe me, right? Let's talk about the other projects you worked on aside from this particular movie which was showcased.
Yeah, we have about 10 other short movies of maximum 6 minutes.
Okay.
These movies deal with different thematic concerns. We have back to school, which is very important. It's school that molds a personality, it's school that molds a country. All right, Nelson Mandela says that education is the most powerful weapon that you can use to change a community, change a people, to change a person. And we think that for the past 4 years or so, we've not had full school resumption. It's true that now it's getting better, but we think that children cannot stay home. No matter what happens, no matter the problems, no matter the conflicts, education is sacrosanct. It's very important.
Education is sacrosanct.
Yeah.
They say if you give education, then you are giving life
exactly.
to the community.
Exactly. If you want to know the importance of education, try ignorance.
It's more expensive.
Yes, more expensive. So I think that so with this short film is on education. We have other short films on the horrors of war. Because during war, nobody wins. Everybody loses. And so no matter the sorrows, no matter the woes and the blues, no matter the conflict, how deep it is, there is no reason for anybody to stand up and pick up a gun or a machete, machetes, that's what people call it, against any other person. After all, we're all made with flesh and blood from one origin. There's no reason to fight for anything that has to do with land. There's no reason to fight for anything that has to do with identity. We keep our identities, we live as a community, we are a people, and I think that is very, very important. It's very important. So those are the little things we're trying to bring. We talk about reconstruction. But over and above all, we have films that have to do with social cohesion. We talk about hate speech. I'm from Bakosi land. This is your online in Bakuri, but I feel free. You should be able to feel free in Bakosi land.
Of course.
The tags of Come No Go and Glow, Bami, Grafi, they do not advance our nation. It's true that there's usually mutual suspicion amongst the different tribes and regions and whatever, but we are a people and we must remain together as a people. Because if we do not hang together as a people, we'll certainly be hanged separately as individuals. And that is what is happening right now. Individuals are being hanged because we are unable to hang together as a people. That's why they say unity is strength. So we're doing some of these short films about education, social cohesion. Can you imagine that we do not have the beautiful things we used to have in our homes, in our villages, holiday sports, activities? That's what brought people together, social cohesion, cultural displays. The importance of our culture, our mores, our mannerisms, our way of life, our culinary methods. Those things, we're fast losing them. So we're trying to educate not only Cameroonians, but also educate the whole world to the importance of this social cohesion, of people living together as a community. If somebody falls here, what we notice on the streets of our country is that when something happens which is negative, people get their camera and they're trying to film. You film somebody who's dead or somebody who's died, instead of going to help that person. The search for scoop is a problem, and that has to do with citizen journalism. So I thought that as a journalist, as a communicator, this time Camille has given us an opportunity, all right? Because we think that besides mainstream media, television, radio, bloggers, newspapers, and all of that, we have a possibility to use the cinema to educate Cameroonians, to entertain them while educating them. And I think I want to thank the CAMIF officials for giving us that opportunity, and also the United Nations Development Program that are the sponsors of CAMIF, to be able to watch this. I'm not a cinema person.
And equally for sponsoring some of these short movies,
sure,
like you said.
Sure, for sponsoring some of these short
movies. To come in,
yes,
and see these projects realized.
Good. The presidential plan for the reconstruction and development of the Southwest and Northwest regions. We have an opportunity now to build back better through the presidential plan. In times of conflicts, rebuilding, even when there is conflict, is a part and parcel of the confidence building mechanisms that you put in place. You see, after all, we are not alone. We are not left on our own. The street that has been destroyed, the government or the sponsors can rebuild the streets. The house that are destroyed, you rebuild the houses, you are putting confidence in the people. I've heard people say that you cannot do reconstruction when the war is going on. No, because reconstruction becomes part of the confidence building mechanism.
Okay.
It is very important. That also is a step towards ending the war or ending a conflict. I think Cameroonians have suffered a lot, and I think one more life lost is one life too much. We have to put an end to that. We thank CAMIF, we thank the PPRD and UNDP for bringing all of this together. We hope that things are going to get better. If you are informed and educated by the film that we have, I think it is good.
Most people say, this is proposed PP.
Most people know personal person.
Personal person.
Yes.
And inside the presidency, how did this guy get here? This Anglophone guy, this young English-speaking journalist. What magic? Tell us about it.
Yes, I've heard all kinds of things and stories about how I got to the presidency. But I think it's one of those stories of resilience.
Okay.
And hard work is also very important. But I also tell my students that besides resilience and hard work, you have your comportment and your deportment. How do you behave? How do you carry yourself when you even walk in the streets? They're very important. How did I become the anchor of inside the presidency? I should say is my creation.
Okay.
It's not like the program existed, then I just came and did the presentation. No. In 1999, 31st of March to the 17th of April 1999, there was a Mount Cameroon eruption, the famous eruption that lava flowed down to Bakingili. And at CRTV, nobody wanted to cover the eruption because Boya was emptied. Everybody was in Tico and out of the area for fear of the lava flow. And it sounded like kind of punishment, all right, for me to go and cover the eruption in Boya. So I came with Daniel, and he said, no, was my teacher in the School of Journalism. He taught me radio techniques, but we were doing mostly television. So when we arrived here, we met Chivin Daily, and he said, there was no lava flow in this way, so we couldn't have the pictures. Television is so I had to go up the mountain. That's the first time I took this other slope to go up the mountain, and every luggage we had was thrown on the way, except the camera and the sound and whatever. We had people carry their bags and water. That was the most important thing. And behold, when we arrived at the mountain, we saw, I never saw something like that. I'm sure I'm not going to see that again. A river of lava flowing down towards Bakingili, chopping every little thing on its way. As a young journalist, I just told Bibum, Sam Bibum, and late Tizzy, may his soul rest in peace. I told them, turn the camera on me and I'll do a stand-up. I said, my lad. I said, no, I'm going to do a stand-up.
So that's risky, right?
Risky, right. So I do a stand-up and say, okay, you see what you find behind me is a whole river of lava and whatever kind of thing. And while I was talking, a vent opens up. Boom, another one. I said, so you see there's another vent opening up. So that creates panic at home. Myself, as a young reporter, you don't even know what's happening to you. You just want to get the scoop. You want to bring the news to the people. So we did that on a daily basis. And the president had to come to Boya, to Bakingili, because the lava was almost crossing the road, and the president left Yaoundé, came to Bakingili. I was told that when the president was coming, his team of reporters had to come with him. At that time it was Charles Dongo, Minister Joseph Lee, my big brother Ngomba Ndeli, and Full Peter. That was the presidential team. So, but the president left them behind, and somebody told somebody that I was told, there's a young man in Boya, he will cover my arrival.
Wow.
And since it was also dangerous.
Wow.
So when the president arrived, he landed at Bakingili with Chief Ephraim Inonu, was then the Deputy Secretary General of the Presidency of the Republic. They came out of the helicopter, and the only person the president recognized was me. And he said, Mr. English, where is the lava? I cannot forget that day, right? So Mr. English, where is the lava? I told him, I spare you the rest. All right, we came up to Poto quarters where they had some fissures on the walls. We visited the presidency, which also had some cracks. And I asked the president, you've seen the road from mile 17 to Boya town, to where we are. If the eruption occurs from this end of the slope, everybody is going to die. Don't you think something should be done for the roads in Boya? And the president said, from the junction down there to Ovia, how many kilometers? Panicking, I said, I was Jean Matthias Komiko too. I mean, they were standing aside. And I said, it's 17 kilometers. Actually, I did not, my 17 to, yeah, I did not the estimate. So the president said, I've given instructions from next week, Boya, I'll have 17 kilometers of tarred roads. And when this work started, they realized that from my 17 junction to the governor's office, it's about 7.5 kilometers, maximum 8. And that's how they started extending to the quarters. Wow. So what you have in Boya today is a result of the Mount Cameroon eruption and the questions we asked to the president. And so as soon as we came back to Yaoundé, 2 days later, Professor Gervais Mendoze, may he so rest in perfect peace, called me and said, where's your passport? A young man who had never had a passport before. I said, I have a passport. He said, enter into the car. He took me to the General Delegation of National Security. They did a passport for me. They gave me a visa in the Swiss Embassy. I traveled that same night. Guess who? Mr. Shandongo. He was now Director General. And I like what he told me. He said, George, you are like a reserve player in this team. If you play well, you remain the main player. If you don't play well, you will never be part of this team again.
And you took the challenge. And
I took the challenge, went to Geneva, and my reports were, those who listened and watched said they were marvelous. When I came back, I was appointed as assistant. So we created inside the presidency, President's Act 2, parliamentary echoes, and all those other programs that you can imagine. And I stayed behind the president for 18 years, covering his events, moving from one country to the other, covering activities at the presidency, the parliament, Prime Minister's office, National Assembly, National Gendarmerie, because that's what you call sovereignty. All right. So the message here is not the beauty of covering the president. The message here is the message of resilience. Yes, that you can use
even a challenging moment. Yes, to step up your game.
Yes, that you use a challenging moment like the Mount Cameroon eruption, and then it pushes you to the fore, brings you to the limelight, and you stay there. It's difficult to stay at the top. Very, very difficult to stay at the top. We tried for 18 years.
You mind sharing with us?
Yes.
Your secret, what's that?
Yeah, my secret is hard work.
Okay.
And innovation. In everything I do, I ensure that I do it better than I did it the previous day.
It's really fantastic. We want to find out, is this where it ends after the major national dialogue, after UNDP came in and sponsored these projects? What does the future hold? How are we going to be seeing Mr. George Ewane, especially in cinema? Are we expecting you to see you on the screens, in the movies, or are we just, does it just end here?
One major actor of cinema from Nigeria told me, so I need to see him one of my films.
I saw you robbing with Ramsey Noah.
It's for the first time. I said, you need to be part of the cinema world. I said, that would be very expensive. Your cinema industry will collapse if you have to pay me.
But what about in Cameroon? We need people like you.
People need to do the things that the best know how to do.
But who knows? Who could imagine that Mr. George Ewane could write a script, could direct maybe a movie, a short film, and pass across that message? The essence is education, entertainment, and information.
We will see. For now, I have no projects about being a film actor or director. I can write some scripts.
Okay.
All right, we could write some scripts which will be corrected by the specialists in the field. We can also do some sponsoring, because cinema is an important vehicle of communication. All right, I want to find films where people don't kill each other, or even if they kill each other, but at the end, what is the denouement? What is the outcome of that film? Are people educated besides the entertainment that they have at home? Well, we'll see what that gives. I'm not an actor. I've dealt with serious subjects all through my life, so if I have to do cinema, it'll be very serious subjects, right? For now, I'm not thinking of that. But we have these short films that we'll continue producing.
Okay.
All right, the short film we've produced about 10 so far. Kameva has aired 2. The other 8 will know how to inject them to social media, different platforms, probably on television, on radio, on blogs, and all of that. It's just to sensitize the public and to tell Cameroonians that there is nothing as important as living peacefully. I'm just from my village in Anga. You cannot imagine the joy I felt after 4 years to meet my old man sitting there, the whole village coming out. It was marvelous. It's beautiful. So peace has no price.
Peace has got no price.
Yes.
Now tell us, Are there some little skeletons, other things in the cupboard we need to discover about Mr. George Ewane? Because we did not know this about you before now.
Okay.
So maybe we'll get to discover some other aspects. Your leisure, what do you do? What are those things that make you you?
I do so many things. It's difficult to really say what we do. Generally, I'm a very disciplined person.
Okay.
Many people just discovered that I was a professor in the university. Okay, I had a PhD several years back. I'm not of the Minister of Communication. That you should know is one of the skeletons in the cupboard. I'm of the Minister of Higher Education, placed at the disposal of CRTV.
Okay.
So I'm a full-time lecturer, professor of the university.
Okay.
That's one aspect of it. But I love communication. That is my world. I do a lot of sports too. I like cooking. If you want to know some of those, yes,
I
wish
we could go to the kitchen already. So what's that favorite delicacy like cooking?
Oh, esuba. Esuba. You know what they call esuba?
Esuba and kwankala.
And kwankwa. Well, and that again. My traditional meal, like we grew up in that. But I also cook other meals. I don't have time to cook, but when I have time to cook, find time
I'm
to
sure
cook.
your wife is one blessed woman.
Yeah, she doesn't want me to cook.
She doesn't want you because she feels like you can give a special touch.
Women don't like when you take power from them.
Of course.
Yes, because that's a woman's sector. So let them be where they are. But once in a while you can do that. I think it's also important. So there's so many things we do. If there are skeletons, anybody can discover the skeletons, right? I don't know what a skeleton in all of that.
Okay, before we take leave of you, we want you to give an advice. A number of journalists especially look up to you as an icon. Yes. A number of youths look up to you, people from your place and those across the country and beyond. What message are you giving out to those watching you at this moment?
I'll look at them straight in the eyes and say, I have just one message. And this message is resilience. The word resilience is very important. Above everything else, be resilient. No matter where you come from, no matter what you are, no matter what you do, you will meet obstacles on the way. Use those stumbling blocks as stepping stones and forge ahead. Many of our youth have given up. They have given up on themselves, they have given up on their country, and that's why many are in the bushes. Do not give up on yourself, never give up on your country, be resilient. Because only the tough live in tough moments and survive these moments. You have to be tough, you have to be strong. The problems will be there. But when you let resignation be part of you, you are a failure. Some of us, you just see us on TV and other things that we do. You think that these people are fed with a golden spoon, with venison and turtle soup. No! We've gone through thick and thin. Every personality in this country has a story to tell.
A story to tell.
Yes, a story of resilience. Resilience in the face of danger, in the face of difficulties, in the face of obstacles, be resilient. Be like a water path. When it's blocked, find a way out. As simple as that. This southwest region is today, or the English-speaking Cameroon, today is noted for being the best in music, the best in cinema, the best in so many things. That was not the case before.
That's true.
You know why they became the best? Because they realized that they had an obstacle in terms of entering to professional schools and doing other things. And they realized that you have a natural talent to you. I can sing. They are the best. Everywhere. My friend Ibrahim Sharif, not to mention him, told me, he said, I hear that Anglophones and Francophones are separating. I said, well, I'm not in that. He said, okay, si vous partez, partez avec tout, mais laissez-nous avec les artistes. So you understand what I'm saying? Leave us with the artists that we have. Leave us with Daphne.
Who's your favorite artist?
Petit Pays, unfortunately.
Hey. Okay. And what's your favorite track? Because we might have to have a piece of it before taking it over.
There you are in trouble with me.
Okay, let's have.
No. I have some. There's no favorite. All his tracks are favorable to me.
Any of them.
What do we get?
So that would dance offset and see the other dancing parts of.
That's dangerous.
No, it's not dangerous. I think it's dangerous.
No, but I love Petit Pays because each time Petit Pays gets 2 or 3 things together and just hits the drum, there's some music.
Yeah. So you know your body's moving.
Some music comes up and your body is moving. I don't even know what to showcase for Petit Pays now, but I think he's a good guy. He's a good guy. I love the song Aloba.
Okay.
All right. That talks about God. God. And the fact that God is everything in his life and all of that. I don't know how to sing, unfortunately. If you sing it, I can dance. But since I don't know how to sing it, maybe just look for it and play it at the background, yes, and then we'll be able to dance after that.
Okay. You know, when you talk to Professor,
thank you.
He doesn't want to dance on set, but after this, I can assure you we're going to dance.
Yeah, we can dance. I don't know how to sing the song, otherwise we would have danced, right? You say you want to just start dancing without any song, but it's good.
It's been a wonderful time having you today on Cameroon Feeling. Thank you so much, Professor George Ewane, for coming on board.
It's a pleasure. I'm happy with what you guys are doing. Thank you for having me on your program. It's a beautiful program. I thank you very much. In fact, I'm honored and humbled. Just one message, that's we journalists always talk a lot, that above all else, let us make this country our country. We should be proud of our country. We should be proud of our nation. We should be proud of who we are, in spite of the problems that we have, in spite of the wars and blues and all of that. There is no country where there are no problems. None. Cameroonians must learn to keep their country and keep the image and prestige of their country. What is happening on social media, what is happening in different networks about our country is not good, because you should be proud of your country. It's part of the patriotism. That's the last thing I wanted to say.
Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you very much.
That was Professor George Ewane for you, and it's been really great. And if I gather two things, resilience, and we should be proud of whom we are. Just as it's echoed in this piece done for us by Witty Mistral, be proud of whom we are. At this juncture, we have to say our goodbyes on the program. Patience, it's been a great time out here in Boya. And without much ado, with the rest of the team from Boya, we say our goodbyes.